Okay, so yeah, if you want to start hauling in stuff to shred, that'd probably be the best.
Okay. So prefer that over the sciencey then?
Yeah, both.
I think I just found a pretty good
science.
repository of science, actually. So
also,
I'll do that first, and then
speaking of science, you know how we kept getting those big science things? And they were kind of a pain to bring back to the base. If you get a bunch of compressors, you can make them small.
Oh, that's fun. It turns out, yeah, I guess they're not too bad to get them, because often it takes a long time to go, like, find them, and then, like, you can take 3 back at a time, and then they last for an hour.
Yep.
But you're right. If we could bring back 16, then we would, like, never need to go retrieve more of them.
Well, somebody had suggested that in the comments. So I was like, oh, that's good.
I didn't know you could compress them. It didn't think of it to me as something that, like, they're not constructible, right? So,
yeah,
but that's cool. If it works, it works. We don't have science already, do we?
I'll work on it.
Okay. Well, I've got some toys for you to put in once you're there. Actually, there's kind of a big group of them, so I might just go and pick up a few more before I go for the salvage.
Yeah, go for it.
It was too much fun jackknifing my, like, get up down a hill backwards to not do it again.
How many cars do you have on that? 3?
I've got three trailers on it.
I am floored that you can do that. Oh, I wonder if we can get the big vehicle at this point. Medium rover, 2 plastic and a rubber.
Those sound like nothing we have.
Yeah, not yet. With the atmospheric condenser, which I think we might be able to make soon. Let me figure out where you make that.
So I heard someone say in the comments that ammonia is something you need a lot of. So
yeah,
should I collect ammonia when I see it?
Yeah, well, I think we can get free ammonia with soil, but yeah, might as well collect it.
When I'm going for big science things, I don't really need my inventory space for other things, so. I suppose part of it, though, is if we need it later, we'll have to come back to this planet to, like, retrieve it.
But we'll be able to teleport at least.
Yeah. But there aren't more efficient ways than, like, teleporting and carrying them on your person, right? Because you said with the rocket, you can carry, like, a ton of stuff for some of the larger ones, but does it ever make sense to, like, do that?
Sorry, to teleport back, or sorry, I'm.
Oh, to ever use a rocket rather than teleporting.
Only for planets that you hadn't been to, or if you were silly and forgot to put up a base near a teleporter.
So if I can compress science, does that mean I can also compress debris? Because some of this debris I can't just put on my platforms. So it would seem...
Some of it might just be too big.
So you'd have to shred it where it is, or?
Maybe. The medium shredder would fit on the back of your car.
Oh, okay. And the resources that we'd shred it into would be something we can carry, so...
It doesn't look like it, actually.
Oh, the shredder wouldn't fit on it?
Yeah, well, no, the shredder would fit, but you'd only be able to shred the small stuff.
Oh, because the meteor shredder?
Yeah. Okay, well...
So, the big stuff currently isn't important, or we just gotta science something up?
Probably sign something up. I'm looking at, we need 2,500 bytes to get the trade platform. I'll get us at least one research thing first. Probably 2. Resonant compounds.
Well, I've got three more of those big science things coming, so then I'll focus on the scrap.
The one problem is we're going to start running into power problems
Well, that's your problem, not my problem.
This is true.
My problem is to make sure that you run into power problems. Because that means the bottleneck isn't me if you're running into the problem, right?
True. But after a certain point, there's no feasible way I'm going to be able to keep up with the demands.
Lapis Pond. Recreational item. Do you know what that is?
I'm assuming it's like the ball, but I could be wrong.
What's the ball?
There's like a ball that you can play with, but I could be very wrong with this.
I mean, it
also,
seems...
I see some really silly storage solutions that I want to play with.
Storage solutions. So
I think we might be able to do recursive silos.
Really?
Yeah.
This game hasn't really let you store anything except as like an object yet.
Yeah.
It would seem unlike what we've seen so far.
There's also the soil container. This would mainly be useful for flying to the next planet, but whatever the last planet we go to, I want to just land there with a recursive silo sticking out of our, the side of our spaceship.
I would be excited to see that. I would also be excited to see the daisy chain into space.
I guess that's that's what I meant. I'm probably using recursive quite incorrectly. Fractal? It would be, I guess, fractal storage up to a certain limit.
Well, I'm trying... Oh, so they still keep sticking off?
Yeah, they keep sticking off of each other.
I see. Yeah, I think fractal is really the way I'd do it. I think recursive could be, though. I mean, because, like, really, fractal is a form of recursion, so I think recursive makes sense in that context. I think I just didn't understand exactly what you were describing until you said fractal.
Yeah. This is one of those where it's like, recursive has just kind of become a catch-all term.
I think you were correct. It was the correct term. It was just a little bit too general for me to understand it.
Yeah.
I get it now. I like that thought, actually.
Oh god, there's so many of these. All right.
Oh yeah, there's even more. They got to be worth a ton, right?
They're worth a decent chunk, yeah.
I mean, I guess not individually worth a ton, but just in how apparently common they are on this world, it seems promising. Yeah, what's our science at anyways? We got 1,000? It's worth a lot more than that.
Each of these is worth a little over 1,000, so I'm gonna get one more science thing, and then we're probably gonna have to stop, if only because of space issues.
Oh, you mean stop having science things?
Well, yeah, we don't want to have too many things running research, because then we are going to run into problems.
But Wander, science. Could you imagine if scientific research were this easy? You wouldn't want to, like, abuse that, wouldn't you? I mean, like, wouldn't you?
Oh, 100%.
But you're right. Getting to a hard planet and abusing it there makes a lot more sense.
Oh, it's just mainly, we don't, my batteries are almost all empty, like, every night here.
Ah.
I guess I could try and, I could look into just getting the, regular gold generators. That probably would be the easiest one.
Look, we're gonna tech our way out of this problem. It's okay in the short term. Climate change is real, but we're all about getting our way to that science fastest through whatever means necessary. If only Big Oil had gone with that particular argument.
I would have been so happy with that. And it's like, well, our
I
industry
don't know
has
if I would be totally happy with it, depending on how genuinely they took it, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's definitely a well-intentioned way to do it, and delaying tactic way to do it.
Yep. Okay. Seeing as we're having some power problems, I'm just going to make some medium generators.
Mutant noxious cataplant seed. Can only be planted. Mutation incompatible with research center. Do we want that? Is that a thing I should bring home?
Sure, bring it home. What's the worst that could happen?
We die.
I'm
thinking of that portal. I think it's Portal 2. It's like the fact sphere. It is quite likely he will kill you. You will likely die. You will likely die violently.
I remember that now. It's been a while since I've played the Portal games. I did like a short stint. Recently with Portal 1, where I was doing this dumb little like experiment called Goose versus Game because I gotten a computer app that effectively puts like
I saw that
Goose
actually.
on your desktop. Yeah,
you're playing the like some desktop plant game that.
Yeah, so I did that.
So compelling, so.
Yeah, it wasn't super compelling if it weren't for the goose, and even then it was the goose that was stealing the show. And so I was like, but what if I did that with like other regular games? And I haven't been back since, but Portal with a goose that would regularly steal your cursor was really hard because it would effectively just kill me randomly.
Yep.
I did fine. It was the one that was the hardest was actually getting over it with Bennett Foddy because like
oh boy,
yeah, that
game's pretty hard as it is. I don't even. There's so many like points where like the repercussions to like the goose stealing your cursor are like all your progress in the game. And there's so many like
interesting thing was that the lag was the worst part.
Oh, because it lagged the game.
It was so laggy, yeah.
Did you? How far did you get in the game? Did you do like one episode or?
Yeah, it actually hasn't hit YouTube yet because I didn't want to commit to.
See, it's funny that I knew this was happening because I saw that you had played it recently on Steam.
Let's see. But I got as far as it's the part with the lanterns where you have to kind of wiggle the hammer above your head back and forth a bunch.
Oh yeah, I'd say that's like the first really hard part of the game.
Yeah, I got to that point and then the game froze, and I was like, "This is a good stopping point. I feel satisfied," and then I stopped.
Because it was kind of a big thing for streamers to do that particular game, even. So yeah, I remember not being surprised that you didn't jump on it because it didn't really strike me as your speed. So I was more surprised that you had played it. Really is when I saw it and thought, huh, okay.
If I'm at the suggestion of my YouTube manager, I've been trying to do more like kind of unique content.
Okay, so the goose
to experiment. Well, so I'm my manager's pet project for how to make like Let's Play content more viable, so that YouTubers stop quitting.
Is that? I mean, because you've asked kind of like a lot of people seem to. You mentioned that a lot of people don't seem to do it long term. Is that because it's not really viable for a lot of them? Is that?
Yeah, there's kind of a hard cap on what you can do with it. The days of like Let's Play content growing a channel like really fast are long gone.
Okay.
Because back in like when I was just starting college, for example, you could put out a video on any game and get like 100,000 views per episode purely just because there was no one else competing with you and no one else like on the scene. Yeah. And so a lot of the like the really big channels that people think back on and be like, yeah, what happened to them? Many of them just hit that big boost but never really adapted to the modern industry requirements. Sorry.
I think you should print up some stuff is what I'm seeing.
That's what I'm doing. Whoops, and I just yoinked your... There you go. Let's see.
So that, like, after putting out videos and making a pretty good channel off of it initially, people stopped watching them over in preference of other Let's Players, probably?
There's a couple of things that kind of changed it. So, SEO has changed several times at this point over the course of, YouTube's lifespan.
Wait, what,
and that's actually...
SEO? SEO?
SEO.
What is this?
E is in, like, elbow. But so... It's changed several times over the last 10 years. Originally, it used to be based on, like, likes, and then it was based on views, and then now it's
search
mostly
engine
been...
optimization, that's what it means.
Yeah,
that's what
sorry about that.
Uncertain about.
I forgot to actually clarify that one. But so it's been... It's changed considerably over the last couple of years. And for a lot of people that, like, got their huge boost early on, that was almost against SEO just because the audience was that hungry for the content. But then after a certain point, that stopped being the case. Twitch came on the scene, and a lot of the audience switched over to a live, viewing platform instead, which makes perfect sense, and I don't really begrudge anybody for doing so. I mean, I'm certainly still streaming.
Actively streaming as we speak, yes.
But so a lot of the big YouTubers that, like, really hit it big made the switch over to Twitch, when it was still kind of just in TV, or just as it was, like, getting big. And so, a lot of them are the current, like, big streamers, at least a number of them. But a lot of other ones, like, have stopped doing YouTube and talk about how, like, it's just not viable anymore. And so my channel manager is effectively like, how do I make Let's Plays not viable without changing YouTube? Because I can't do that.
Yeah, I hadn't been aware that this was a thing that was happening at all. So, I mean, I was aware that, like, your channel is still progressing. It seemed like it hadn't been growing at the sort of exponential pace that it had previously. So
yeah, between Scrap Mechanic and Fallout, those are kind of the main two that really sent me skyward. And then, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of other things. I'm on the medium end of where I was at a couple of years ago. I'm trying to make it, go back up a little bit faster without changing too much.
It makes sense. But I guess in terms of, like, making it more viable, is that because, a lot of the big ones might have, like, lost a lot of their views or whatnot, but, like, is that true in general, that, like, most of the gaming channels have just been getting, like, I guess yeah, I guess here's the trick, is it's not that people stopped watching gaming, it's just that a lot of people wanted to do it, right?
That is definitely a big part of it, that the views have spread out heavily. I know people like to talk about how YouTube is dying, but the answer is, I think, year after year, YouTube's viewership goes up by, like, 20%. It's just the audience desires change, and, yeah, there are more channels to distribute those views between.
I mean, yeah, I guess you mentioned that there were people that were, streaming on Twitch, which, we're currently doing right now. I guess is that live viewing experience, like, a lot more compelling for most people as part of it?
I could be wrong.
So most of their time is spent watching the live rather than...
The problem I have with that is I actually don't have a good answer. Because I'm obviously live streaming right now, but I've been working on taxes today, which is super boring.
It's funny because I thought hearing about your taxes would be interesting, but I thought you might not want to tell people too much about what it's like filing independently, or
the answer is I have 4 spreadsheets, and they're massive with, like, a couple hundred things on 2 of them, and I'm trying to make sure that the data is correct, and every single company has its kind of own record keeping garbage. So, like, turns out my bank only keeps records for the last, 12 months, and then throws away everything older than that, from what I can tell, which is terrible.
Is that Bank of America? Or is that something
Yeah,
else?
it's still Bank of America. I really need to switch. I just,
yeah.
mild laziness.
I understand that. That's certainly the boat I'm in.
And so yeah, they don't keep records past a certain point, which is really annoying if you're trying to find business expenses.
Yes.
Yeah.
I suppose you could just keep track of this throughout the year, but it's probably hard to keep yourself to it.
Yeah, it's really hard. And so, effectively, I went through all of the other sites that I buy things through. So, Amazon and IKEA was the big issue, actually. We had to go through the entire house and try and put price tags on all of the office furniture we picked up. Because, half of the stuff I own is for business purposes.
Yeah, right. You need your... Are there good resources you have for, like, looking up tax law stuff for filing independently, or is it pretty straightforward?
Just TurboTax and good luck.
Okay. Hopefully it goes down well.
I keep meaning to hire a CPA to do this for me because I feel like that would probably be easier.
Yeah, I don't know what the price for that would be or not.
I would assume I'd probably save more money with a CPA.
I mean, yeah,
than
if they
lose out on hiring them.
If they help you save on your taxes, certainly. I guess it depends on how much you're able to learn from them. Because
it's also just the time-saving measure.
That's a good point. Because for you, time is money in a way that only is kind of true for me.
Let's see.
Right.
I feel like retention on financial stuff should be longer than a year. At least online-wise, all of the records cut off after a year, which is real stupid.
Yeah, they probably keep it there. They just make it hard to access it.
Yep.
So the packager is the thing I need, right? For compressing. Yeah, given that one soil canister equals one graphite, it's a little bit annoying to try and get a lot of it, but I suppose it'll save me quite a bit of time, won't it? Well, I'll go test this out before I go too deep into it. I love this mountain of research. 2 is not enough. You're going to need more than that, friend.
If you can keep... Oh, wait, come back?
Oh, what?
Maybe not. I was going to say, you want to take this thing along and just start scrapping anything you go by?
Okay.
Because we need a lot of scrap.
This will work on... You said
the small stuff.
So the small stuff? The stuff that I can just fit in my inventory?
Yep. And then I'll turn it into scrap.
And it'll output the scrap when it'll just have it somewhere.
Yeah, it's like your gun. It'll just output it after a little while.
I see. I just put a little bit in and it didn't do anything, but that's probably because it was only a few of them. It's just sitting on... I love the thought of this scrapper just right on the front of the vehicle, and I just drive it right up to the debris and just start going to town. I don't think it's going to let me do that, but that's what I want it to be.
Let's see. So, oh wow, the ratios on this are actually pretty good. Except for Titanite. Titanite and lithium are stupidly expensive. We need 2 scrap per piece of Titanite. But as long as we scrap a silly amount of stuff, we will just be able to...
we can make a lot of the rare resources?
Any resource that is not got through the atmospheric condenser.
Wow, okay.
Yep.
Atmospheric condenser? That's something we don't have yet, right? Or are we talking about...
That's the next thing I'm going to be working on, is getting one of those, because we're going to want to stock up on everything.
Okay. So how do you feel if I keep bringing science back to you when I run into it, though?
As long as you're bringing a sufficient amount of scrap back, I don't care. Because once we have scrap, I can start getting more batteries, and that'll solve problems.
So now I am also responsible for the energy crisis.
Yes.
Oh no. Responsibility. but the science must go on, so I cannot say no to this challenge. I left a plant that you could plant back there for you.
Yes, I'll figure that out.
What? I don't know. I probably just want to science it, right?
Probably. Yeah, because this is just Lash Leaf. We don't like Lash Leaf. Lash Leaf is garbage. There's also
I was thinking all of the things that you could plant were like hostile and dangerous, so I was wondering, what do you really want to do that for anyways?
Right, there's the mutant hostile cataplant, which is not actually useful in the slightest. I'm throwing it in a pit. Now that I look at it, I know exactly what that is. That's the things that just throw attack bits at you.
Indeed.
What the heck is the lapis pawn? Is there... Maybe there's just like a full-on chess set that you can get.
Well, whoever suggested the use of compressors on the science stuff, thank you. And my only regret is not bringing more graphite. Kind of a scrap-poor world, though.
Yeah, we can...
not looking in the right spot. We just go elsewhere?
Yeah, pretty soon.
We can't go anywhere until we like work out this backlog of science, though.
Well, what I would probably want to do is unlock the teleportation setup, and then start beelining between our various planets to get as much scrap as possible and really build up our resource thing. Oh, that's what it was. I was trying to remember why I had so much scrap the last time I played. There was a bug that I'm sure they've gotten rid of. That if you put a basic personal battery in the scrapper, it would just scrap endlessly.
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to get more of it.
I was honestly confused. It's like, oh yeah, why aren't we using what I used previously? And the answer is, oh, right, you can't. Oh. I'm gonna go toss this other plant seed in the pit too, I think.
Is this the side of the mountain that we just carved stuff out of for the soil canister?
Yeah.
I really love it. It's kind of like a dumping ground, but the reverse.
Quarry?
Yeah. But you're not just like mining the... Well, yeah, I guess like you mine rock in quarries, but like here we're taking everything. Like it's not like there's the remains of the quarry. There's just an absence.
Well, I'd say usually the remains of the quarry is just everything around it, which...
That's true. It's a big hole. I guess it's that we're so indiscriminate about it.
Yeah.
But I think you're right that the analogy is really quite strong, so I really shouldn't argue against that. It is, in fact, exactly a quarry.
Quibbling.
That is true. I think that is a good example of quibbling.
I love the word quibbling, but actual quibbling only works if everybody is on board.
Everyone being on board with quibbling is like where you know that you're arguing about something silly, like whether or not Squirrel Girl could beat Thanos.
Yeah,
exactly. What we're talking about.
And that you know nobody's going to be passionate about it.
But what if they are?
Well, I mean, like, passionate, but, like, friendly passionate as opposed to, like...
What if feelings are hurt? What if Thanos is
that ain't a quibble.
What if Thanos is, like, emotionally important to someone?
I would have other concerns.
Look, he just wanted to get with death. It's... No one can really knock that, right? You know? You can definitely knock that.
I feel like that character...
You can definitely say that's not a defensible stance.
I feel like that character motivation works for, like, an arc of a comic. And then after a certain point, it's just like, Thanos, what are you doing?
Remind me, did you, like, death crazed, death love crazed Thanos more than you liked Malthus Thanos?
Malthus?
Like Thomas Malthus, who talked about like the way that we'll have like bad stuff will always equalize the population, and so the way we need to solve that is, well, the way that's naturally solved is by war or plague. But Thanos is like, no, that's bad. So instead, we'll kill people.
I see. So really, it's just MCU Thanos versus comics Thanos.
Yeah, but like he definitely follows a very particular like. It's very
okay,
like.
We're good. So
it's
by the way,
it's very much informed by that philosopher, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.